I have parent guilt. Let me explain. Um, I currently live in Thailand. It has been a decision that I've made almost 2 years ago to be here and live here and thrive here, learn how to thrive. I've lived in the United States for 35 years. I was born and raised in New York City, Harlem specifically, and I was just surviving. All I knew was to survive, and I didn't want to survive anymore. And along with my own personal issues as far as like my childhood traumas that began to resurface, and the overall health of my children. Yes, I'm a mother, so I not only I had to learn through survival that I can't just think about my children all the time if I'm not okay. And that leads to the topic today, which is parent guilt. So I was so fed up, depressed, just out of it, not knowing which way to turn, what to do. And like I said, I made the decision to leave the country. I thoroughly thought this through in the aspect of what was really happening with me, to me, and subsequently with my children. Now, of course, there was fear within that decision. However, I'm the type of person that I will do it whilst crying. I will do it while scared. I don't care. I'm going to do it because I know that I'm going to grow. And even if I fail, I will learn from it and I will prosper from that shit. Straight up. So, I made the decision to do it. And here I am, almost 2 years later, and I am beginning to feel parent guilt because I really I came here and I got to work. I allowed this environment to allow me. I gave myself permission to immerse myself in the space that I decided to be in through all my trials and tribulations, even being here as an immigrant, to heal. And I've done a phenomenal fucking job. You know, I'm in a space right now where I'm giving myself credit. I've never really even been in this space before where I've given myself credit. And that is due to, of course, my healing. And I'm also I'm around individuals who are mirroring the inner parts of myself, the parts that who I've always been, rather than being around people that bring out my inner demons, you know? And it's been a great move, clearly, you know. I'm able to have the better parts of myself reflected back to myself, not only from strangers, but from my children, from my partner, even my cats. Like, it's beautiful, you know. So yes, I've been immersing myself in my healing journey, and yes, I big myself up. I've given myself the credit. I continue to give myself the credit. But I'm struggling to even express this. I feel as though I have neglected my children in some ways, because now that I am more healed than I've ever been before, I'm starting to, as you heal, you become more aware of things that you weren't privy to before, such as others being unhappy and having the overall understanding and or overstanding of why they may be unhappy. And it's okay to be unhappy, but I'm their parent and I don't want my children to be unhappy, although I know it's a part of life, but I don't want them to be unhappy, especially if it's on of the likes of me. So I'm all over the place, but bear with me, please. Another reason why I decided to move across the world was because not only was I in triggered, traumatic, in need of healing space, my daughter, which is my eldest, she was in unfortunate space and within herself as well. And due to what I was just unaware. I was so immersed in surviving that I didn't even know that, or I was, I didn't know the depth of how depressed my daughter was. I knew that there was a sense of depression. I think I personally took it too lightly, and that was also due to me just not knowing what to do other than what I was doing, which was I put her in therapy. But as a mother, I felt so helpless. I felt like I was supposed to have the answers, and I had to come to terms with the fact that I didn't have the answers, and there wasn't much that I could do for her. It still made me feel horrible, but I had to face the reality of that, especially if I wanted her to begin on the road of recovery. Now, she was in therapy before we left, and I had a lot of concerns due to the fact that she wouldn't be able to get the same type of therapy here, and I had concerns, but I also trusted within within my own intuition and my motherly intuition that this move was the ultimate medicine for her. We're city people, right? Born in as what, along with myself, my children were born and raised in Harlem as well, and no matter what I do, no matter how much I may not have been the same as a regular New Yorker or a Harlemite, whatever, somebody from Harlem, they were still being raised in Harlem. Those type of mindsets and people and the environment is gonna affect them. And I couldn't take it, like I can't raise my children with the environment working against me. I mean, isn't the system working against us anyway? So, and while I'm working on myself to not work against myself, and I'm not battling within my relationships. I'm trying to build. That's with myself, that's with my children and my partner and my cats, like it's building. It's not war. I'm not warring. I've warred for 35 years, unconsciously and consciously, and I can't take it anymore. I'm wounded. I am so wounded, which is why I'm healing it. So, yes, okay. So, I brought them here. Now, like I said, I knew it would be the ultimate medicine for her. And it worked. To almost 2 years being here, it has worked. She is flourishing into this unimaginable soul that I'm just so grateful to be, grateful and honored to be a part of. Now that she is okay and on the path of recovery, although her diagnosis, I don't want to, I'm not going to put my daughter's business out there, but I don't feel called to. But it's a road to recovery, and like I said, she is doing well. Now my son, it's a whole nother situation because he is a teenager. He's a young man. He doesn't see, we're different, so we don't see the world in a similar way. He was kind of like awakened, shocked into how cruel the world could be before we left the States, and it wasn't in a great way. He was assaulted, and being a black mother, being a mother in general, I mean, it is not easy. I don't care, black, white, yellow, red. Being a parent is not easy. I don't know what it's like to be a father, but if you are a father and you are a parent, I know it's not easy because you're responsible for another human being, another soul, another spirit, and that's a heavy responsibility if you're not in a position to care and nurture for that soul. Ultimately they picked us, and it's my belief. I believe in soul contracts, and I believe that our children pick us to be their parents because they have soul lessons to learn themselves, and we're the perfect individuals to help them with learning those lessons. And of course we have free will, and some of them choose not to learn it. That's another topic. So yes, my son was assaulted, and being a black mother and raising a black boy in the depths of a city in a country that don't give a fuck about the well-being of my fellow brown people and my baby. Like I'm yeah, so he was awakened in that aspect, and it scared the shit out of me, honestly. It's like my son is a kind spirit. He's a natural humanitarian, and being in that environment is not conducive to his overall well-being because they will chew you up and spit you out, and I'm not allowing my children to adapt to fucking demonic behavior. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I'm here. Like, okay, I'm here. And so yes, so now that we're here, he's a teenager, so it's a little different for him because he doesn't have friends. these people, the people that we interact with here, they are different. Clearly, they're different, and relating to them, it takes a different aspect of oneself to relate to a different form of people, different culture of people, and that goes the same for them. It's not easy for him to form relationships, and being a teenage boy, like, I know that's not easy. I don't know what it's like to be a boy, but I do know what it's like to be a teenager and dealing with social issues, and I know it's not easy. However, I don't think he's overall, like, he sees the higher perspective in our lives, I should say, as far as, although this is, being here is a challenge, but the challenge is conducive for him. And I think that comes along with just parenting overall. It's like, whether I was in New York or I'm in Africa, there's going to be challenges, And I'm dealing with him, I'm dealing with things just not being received well in the beginning of conversations, because it's challenging, and he's not wanting to deal with challenges, which is understandable. And we're homesick. That's another topic. Oh, I want to cry. I don't want to come back to the U.S. And I say I'm saying come back like I'm talking to, maybe I am talking to people, and more people in the U.S. But I don't want to be there. I don't want to go back. But I am homesick. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I honestly never thought that I would be homesick, because that's not a place that I want to be. But the body never forgets, And when I really think about it, like, go in depth into thinking about me being homesick, I feel homesick because I knew how to navigate when things got hard, and here things have become a bit difficult for me in different ways, and I'm new to trying to figure out how to navigate through it. And I don't have close relationships with people outside of my family that is with me right now to work it through. So I'll have to work it through on my own, and it's not easy. It's not easy. And I know if it's not easy for me, it's damn sure it's not easy for my children. There's only but so much that I can do to help the situation. And this is full circle, going back to the parent guilt. I've immersed myself so much within my healing journey that I'm noticing that, they are homesick as well, of course. And I don't even know what to do about me being homesick, and I don't know what to do for them. Yeah. I don't know. Can someone just let me know if they have dealt with mom guilt in this aspect, or parent guilt in this aspect, and maybe some suggestions on what I could do for myself so that I can be in a better position to help my children along this journey. Yeah, I also feel like it's not that I feel this way. I had to put myself first in order to be in a position to parent to my fullest potential. And I had to find my happiness again, and I knew that I was not going to find my happiness in New York City and the States overall. My son, when I first brought it to his attention that we were going to leave the country, he was not happy, and he was just like, well, why can't we just move to another state? Why leave the entire country? And I know it was very scary. Like, even the thought is just scary. But how do you explain to a child? I mean, I explained it, but he still didn't accept it. And there's not much I could do. And I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling now, but all in all I know is I love my children, and now that I have healed, I know I have more healing to do. I mean, we're just healing until we die, but I've healed a lot, and I'm in a space where I can output energy and being there for my children in so many ways. I just don't know how to, and I think that's where my guilt is coming from, because I've been so focused on myself and trying to heal. And right now I'm starting to believe that right in this moment, I think that's probably a part of healing. It's like you feel it's like survivor's guilt. You feel a little guilty about doing what's best for you, especially if you've never done it before. And I've never made this big ass decision to put myself first and really dive deep within myself, because man, like, it is no fun being unhappy, and it's just no fun. It's no fun. Like, it's the ebb and flow of life. But when you're constantly, repetitively, unconsciously perpetuating the feeling of unhappiness, I just got tired of attracting that, and I want to be able to unconsciously perpetuate happiness. Like, happiness is a choice. I've learned that through my healing. It's a choice. You're not going to always be happy, but when you're not happy, you get to choose whether to be happy or not. And I'm not only have I learned it, but I practice it every day. And that's what I'm doing my best to instill within my children. My daughter is 20. And yes, she's considered an adult, but I'm just not that parent to, I don't know how to really explain it. Like, I'm not continuing a cycle of just sending her out into the world because she's 20 and now she has to live in the way that I'm not speaking for other people, the way that I live. Like, I had to go out there and fend for myself once I became of age, because I didn't have the right, I didn't have the proper resources, meaning people and just monetary resources to take care of myself, and that was the survival's mode. The only way that I knew that I could take care of myself was to go out there and learn how to be an adult by working first and foremost, and so many other things were neglected because survival's mode, and I want my children, I want the both of my children to be able to, I've raised them in survival mode, and I want them to experience me in thriving mode, and I want them to experience life. I want them to see the other side of life, and in order for me to be able to provide that for them, I had to provide that for myself. And so she's 20 and she's trying to navigate life, the same way I am. And I can't hold but so much on her, where I'm trying to hold shit together my damn self, I'm trying to figure things out. Like, I'm in the womb of the unknown. And so I'm doing the things that no one ever thought to do for me. And I'm like, this is what I call true investment. I think a lot of people think about investing in someone when it comes to finances, more so than anything. But I see investment as doing your inner work so that you can make the choice to fully invest in another person, because you invested in yourself first. And I choose and continue to choose my children, not because they're my children, because I've invested in them. I've chosen from the very beginning to invest in them. And the more that I get to know them, the more that I undyingly choose to invest in them, which allows me to invest in myself. Like, it's a mirror reflection, and I see the works. I see it's working. I see it. I'm able to. I see it, and that's all that matters. I see it in real time. I just didn't know guilt comes along with all of this. But yes. All right, I'm chucking up the deuces, and I'll catch you later.